Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. We do apologize for starting a little later. There was a little mix-up with Synergy Network. But nevertheless, they got it sorted out. We are on the air. So call your friends and call your family and tell them Real Talk with Saieed Ali is going live. It's Fire Friday tonight, the 14th of January. 3 days again. 2 days again. We have Friday the 14th. Saturday the 15th, Sunday the 16th, and Monday will be the 17th, which the Prime Minister say all vaccinated workers will be, unvaccinated will be home. So viewers, Prime Minister have a press conference tomorrow. Where have he been all the time? Have he been playing hide and seek with the nation? Have he been playing hide and seek with the nation, viewers? While people's jobs are on the line, technically he have just erased himself from the public domain. Even his colleagues didn't even know where he was. So out come just like that. Just like that. But nevertheless, vaccinated National Flour Mill workers joined their unvaccinated colleagues to protest against mandatory vaccination for public servants. At a press conference in December, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said, unless public servants or public service workers are medically exempted from taking the COVID-19 vaccine, only vaccinated workers will be allowed to work from January 17. So it's 2 days again before the bacchanal and the uproar start. But he's smart. He went missing in Trinidad and Tobago and decided to show up now tomorrow at a press conference to inform the nation what will take place on Monday. I want them to make it mandatory, and believe me, I will have Queen Councils carrying the Attorney General and the Prime Minister to court to ask them who gave them the right to take away our right to choose. To choose. Freedom of choice, it belongs to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. If the Attorney General, if some big, let me say some big Dan from a different country, come down and tell the AG, hey, you have no rights again, how do you think the AG would feel? Being a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and holding the title of the Attorney General. How would he feel? So here it is. Unvaccinated public servant have been told to stay at home now, will not be paid, and cannot risk losing their job. Speaking on behalf of workers, now the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union Secretary General Peter Morris said the policy will significantly affect operation of the company as a large majority of workers are unvaccinated. You see, they don't understand. The Attorney General, the Prime Minister, and those who want to make it mandatory, they don't understand that if the workforce in Trinidad and Tobago stays home, it will be like 2021 and 2020, where people started to suffer. Banks started to call for house loan, mortgages, all these things. Business started to close down. So they want to go back to that? Or is it that they want the public servants to actually stay home? So the annual expenditure of 20 billion, according to Colin Imbert, will drop to probably about 5 or 10 billion. So where the next 15 or 10 billion would go? It's Fire Friday, 2386716. Feel free to call in, viewers. It's a mashup program tonight. You will tell me out of the blues, Jesso, you want to come and keep a press conference? And you realize it ain't making sense? The Minister of Health advised the population that 4 additional cases of COVID-19 Omicron variant of concerns were confirmed. Therefore, to date, Trinidad and Tobago has confirmed 22 cases of the COVID-19 Omicron variant. All 4 cases had a history of recent travel to USA prior to the onset of symptoms. Due to their positive COVID-19 result, each patient have been isolated and will remain in isolation until their enhancement discharge criteria for persons with COVID-19 variant of concerns are met. Additional contacts of the positive Omicron cases have been quarantined. So viewers, I will tell you something. These cases will continue growing. It's not like it will come to an end tomorrow. It will continue growing in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing is going to stop that. We just have to be careful of where we go, what we do, and protect ourselves. Take our zinc vitamin, make sure you're healthy, wear your mask, sanitize. All over the world is doing that. But it's not all over the world and making it mandatory for their citizens to take vaccine. Ralph Gonzalez tried. Poor fella. Poor fella. I feel sorry for him. I felt sorry for him. You know, just like I felt sorry for Terrence when he pulled up on the Brian Lara promenade and he shed a tear. He shed a tear to see individuals on the promenade crowded. But he didn't shed a tear when the Prime Minister said the place to be for the Easter is in Tobago. He didn't shed a tear. But nevertheless, families throughout Trinidad and Tobago and worldwide are shedding tears now. They are shedding tears. Even families right here in Trinidad. Because when you hear the hospital send a dead person to a funeral agency, sometimes the family don't even know where the body gone. They are not being contacted. When they may hear about the family for a few days, they're going down to the hospital. Where is the loved ones? The hospital don't know. 2-3 days after now, they would realize, well, hey, I come to meet so-and-so, and unless you ain't get on stink in the hospital, you wouldn't know where your loved ones are. How many callers called in and said, well, Saeed, you know, we went to look for our loved one and we don't know where they are? Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, my friend. You're live on Real Talk.
I'm calling from Tobago.
Tobago, welcome.
No, I vote in the TLM political party. I vote for the Christian Pakojo. And I'm very disappointed with what I'm hearing. The Prime Minister and the Attorney General, even the Minister of Health, what they want to do. So we, the people of Tobago and Trinidad, that is ridiculous. I'm very disappointed to hear about this, what is taking place in this country. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, it's Friday night. Would you support mandatory vaccination for public servants? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Presently, government offices are very, very slow. Very, very slow. Because normally, when you file for annual return, in a couple days' time, you're supposed to get back your form. Now we're waiting for months. Months we are waiting for just to get back our documents. Imagine that. Imagine that. But we're going forward. We're going forward. How are we going forward? We will take one step backward and one step forward and about 10 steps backward. But then say what? This is Trinidad. We like it so. Switching gears to the Alsing now, to Avery Hines. Epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines has stated that there is no logical or scientific evidence, is a pullback I given here, viewers, which supported the National Trade Union Center, NACTA, claims that COVID-19 safe zone increased the spread of the virus. Hines was responding to calls by NACTA for safe zone to be closed as they are contributing to the increase in spreads of the COVID-19 virus. Listen to this.
There is no logical or scientific basis on which to make the claim that the measures to reduce risk during public interaction would be conversely increasing the risk of transmission. what you would see is that if the measures aren't adhered to, if the people trying to find loopholes to escape the various requirements, that would increase the risk.
So now, viewers, is the vaccinated individual spreading COVID-19? Because the ministry, the health ministry, is blaming the unvaccinated for spreading COVID-19. Now we have vaccinated individuals getting the COVID-19 now, which scientifically have been proven right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Right here. You know why I am saying that? Shamfa got it, the Prime Minister got it. So it is a fact that the vaccinated individuals could get COVID-19. So my viewers, now that video is where we end last night, but we're continuing tonight. It's Fire Friday tonight. So viewers, is the vaccinated individual now spreading COVID-19? It has proven that our vaccinated Prime Minister got COVID-19. He had to be quarantined. Shamfa, that's the data. She got COVID-19. I have friends who got COVID-19 even being vaccinated. So here is Trinidad and Tobago. If they are vaccinated now and they have COVID-19 and they step into a safe zone now without a mask, what taking place, Terence? What taking place? Is that safe zone safe? That is a question for Avery Hines, the CMO, and Terence Dialsing, together with the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. So is our safe zone safe anymore? Is our safe zone safe? Because, listen this, because vaccinated individuals died. Am I correct? Am I correct? Yes, I am correct, because the health minister himself said so. Listen this. He stated that once persons adhere to the public health measures which allow them to be in a safe zone, then there will be no introduction or spread of COVID-19 within the safe zone. So I am asking you now, Mr. Avery Hines, if a vaccinated person get COVID-19 and choose to himself, you know what, I am fed up with this quarantine thing. I am vaccinated and I am going out to have a good time. What's going to take place? Terence, I want you to answer. I want the CMO to answer also, and Avery Hines to answer also. That is something that we need to know. So my question to you, Trinidad and Tobago, is how safe our safe zone is. How safe it is. Now, Hines added that the ministry will re-emphasize and all of the requirements for the operations of the safe zone. Listen to this.
And to re-emphasize that all of the requirements for the operation of a safe zone are basically added layers of protection to reduce the risk of an infected individual being in a gathering space in the public, while trying to allow for some measure of economic activity and social activity in the midst of the pandemic. So any attempt that we make, any restrictions or requirements that are put in place to reduce the risk of positive individuals interacting cannot lead to an increase. So that the science behind that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No, but I'm waiting. Adding his voice to the conversation, Health Minister Terence Dialsing states that persons should be happy that TNT is trying to find ways to coexist with COVID-19. No, let me tell you something. We're happy about it, you know. We're happy about it, you know. But you all ain't listening to the public. You all are holding back on information, coming to the citizens and them and telling them the truth. And they're holding back on information. Hence the reason why vaccine hesitancy started in Trinidad and Tobago. I could tell you that. I'd want to be a rocket scientist. Because people have been listening and following international news, and they also listen to Saieed. Because if a vaccinated person could get COVID-19, how safe is our safe zone? Terence cannot answer that. CMO cannot answer that. Avery Hines cannot answer that. The president cannot answer that. The prime minister cannot answer that. You know why? They don't have the answer for that. And I am telling you that. They don't. The other thing ask, who would pay the rent or feed the families of employees of business operating in safe zone if it was closed? Hold on. How long Trinidad and Tobago was shut down for in 2021? 6 months, Terence. 6 months. Terry, I forgot. Terry, 6 months it was shut down for. Now your colleague, the Attorney General, trying to make it mandatory. And you talking about who will pay the rent or feed the families of employees of business operating in safe zone? How safe is the safe zone, Terry? Listen to this video.
I think as a country we should be happy that we are finding ways, as we say, to live with the virus, to coexist with the virus. I was quite taken aback by that call, because who is going to pay the rents? Who is going to, put food on the table if we take that call to shut down safe zones? So it's a matter of, if I could paraphrase what Dr. Hines is saying, risk and reward. And at this point in time, the reward of having people employed in a safe environment far outweigh whatever risks there are.
So you hear him? Trinidad and Tobago, you hear this man? Not too long ago, they were saying the safest place to be is inside your house during the lockdown. They didn't study about who paying for your car. They didn't study about who dropping grocery for you. They didn't study about if the bank call you and you have to move your couch on your bed by your neighbor house. They didn't study that. They didn't study who paying for your child going to school. They didn't study about who paying for your internet, who paying for your electricity, who paying your water rate. They didn't study that. But all of us in 2021, oh God, who will pay? Terence? Who would pay? I am asking you now, who are you collecting our pay from? Not the government agency, not the treasury. While you was collecting our pay, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago was collecting nil, nada, zero, nothing. Even the Prime Minister said to renters, to people who own rental houses and apartments, to all hold all your hand with all the renters. The Prime Minister begging. But when all are supposed to pay salary relief grants and rental assistance in 2020, all are paid in 2021. So it takes the whole year. The whole year for an individual to hold their hand. All I think is joke. Call a good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
You know what it is I find, Saeed?
Talk to me.
Since this thing started, I haven't heard no media house, nobody really give us the real story about this agenda. This thing is, okay, the Prime Minister is claimed to be hiding. What he was doing is having the discussion with all the globalists who involved in this program, which is to change the order of things, how it is done. From finance, go right back. You realize they're destroying the economy.
They're breaking it, they're mashing up Trinidad and Tobago.
The world. What's going on in Australia too?
Yes.
But Australia is the playbook. So once we watch Australia, we could know exactly what's going to happen here. So this is why I was saying in the beginning, if somebody was intelligent enough, they would have been able to see the playbook and apply it to our society so that people would be more informed to not take this job. because it will weaken our society.
Thank you, my friend. You got the video there? All right. So viewers, listen this. Listen this, the other thing I ask, you go put back this video, who would pay the rent or feed families of employees of business operating in safe zone if it was closed? Listen to what Terence had to say.
I think as a country we should be happy that we are finding ways, as we say, to live with the virus, to coexist with the virus. I was quite taken aback by that call, because who is going to pay the rents? Who is going to, put food on the table if we take that call to shut down safe zones? So it's a matter of, if I could paraphrase what Dr. Hines is saying, risk and reward. And at this point in time, the reward of having people employed in a safe environment far outweigh whatever risks there are.
Right, so all I hear that. The man worried now of who paying. Who paying? Terence worried now. So hear this. I want you to take in this video. If you're closing your fridge, pause by your fridge. Leave the fridge open and come and sit down on the couch, because I have something for you. Run that video.
The government's workplace is going to change. It is the intention of the government, come mid-January, to insist that the government's workplace would require vaccinated workers. If you are not in a position to come to the workplace, you would be on leave on your own and you would be furloughed. Meaning that you will still have a job on the establishment, but you choosing not to be able to come to work under the conditions laid down, that you will then not be paid.
All I hear that? All I heard what the Prime Minister said? That is come Monday coming on the 17th. You will not be paid. While the Prime Minister telling you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, that you will not be paid. Terence worried. Terence worried who would pay the rent or feed the families of those employees of business operating in safe zone if it was closed. So I am asking you now, Trinidad and Tobago, how safe is our safe zone? Because if the vaccinated individuals are getting the COVID-19 and they're going into safe zone without masks to drink a beer, without masks to sit down and dine, without masks to jump and play willy-nilly, how safe is our safe zone in Trinidad and Tobago? While the Prime Minister is saying you all will stay home if you're not vaccinated. Terence worrying. Terence worrying now who will pay the bills. Huh? Call her good night. Mistake, you got the click. We ain't had time to waste. It's Fire Friday. It's Fire Friday. Watch me. Let me tell you something. It's a mashup tonight, you know. Terence, you can't be wondering while your Prime Minister demanding the public, you know. That is madness, you know. It shows that all are not communicating. It's showing that Terence running down north and Prime Minister running down south. And then Trinidad and Tobago between the two all you. And all I want to say, oh God, the government working for we? Really? Really? Who the government working for? I feel like I'm out here to make joke or what? I come out here to educate the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what I come out here to do. And I come out to show them that all you're talking nonsense. Terence, remember when you said, when you take the vaccine, it helps reduce the risk of you getting COVID-19? How much people got infected? Shamfa got infected. So when you coming to tell me? What you coming to tell me? Call her good night.
Good night, Saieed. How are you doing?
Hi, good. Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
Right. You know, science is based on absolute things. Science is like 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. But the way that the science they have here, so today 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds, tomorrow it will be 1 pound. That's the kind of science there, which is science fiction. But I get into our point. The point is now you need to compare things. And you need to find out how many people died in the year 2021. Right? Because if you go back in time from year 2020, 2019, whatever, you would find an average of 12,000 people dying per year as the normal thing. So if they said 3,000 people died from coronavirus in 2021, what is the overall amount of death in Trinidad and Tobago in 2021? And then you need to compare what was in 2020 and what was in 2019. Now, if you look, there was a professor, his name is Professor Noel Calitera. He had done a study. He had actually, this is a guy on data. This is not flimsy or top talk, whatever you want to say. And he found out in 2020, there were deaths in 2020 when the pandemic started, than in 2019. It was like a few hundred. And on average, he found 1,000 people die every month, which would work out like 30 people or 35 people dying per day. So it's important to know how many people died in 2021. And that would give you an idea of how the death rate is and how COVID is really affecting the country. And if the measures that are taken in locking down the economy and shutting down the economy, if that really made any scientific sense, because business is based on death, it is based on risk analysis and all these things. Is those things being done? And I want to make another point. They are crying Omicron. But the CEO of Pfizer, his name is Albert Bourla, he said that the present vaccine that they have does not address Omicron. He said they are coming out a vaccine in March, which is like some 1.1, and that will address the variant Omicron. So when they say they're vaccinating for Omicron, what vaccine are they using?
I understand.
Because clearly the CEO is saying, and this is the fourth dose, this is the fourth vaccine he's talking about now, which is coming out in March. So if they're telling people that they need to vaccinate for Omicron in Trinidad, Pfizer is saying they don't have any vaccines for that. So then what vaccine are they using? Right? So that's just my simple point. And another thing, the Attorney General said that, you know, there was a lot of people who was hospitalized in the UK for Omicron, and they were those who were not boosted. But if you're not boosted, means that you were fully vaccinated.
Yes.
Because boosted is a booster comes after the vaccination. But I don't know if the government, or there was a spokesperson said that, he said the opposite. We have most people being hospitalized in the UK are those who are not vaccinated. So they're sort of like twisting the words and using words, you know, all kind of words that they're using. And we need to be very careful of the words. Science has said absolute. Absolute means that gravity has remained the same, Newton's law has remained the same, science and biology has remained the same, and it cannot change. And we need to go back to basics. So have a good night, side. That's just my contribution.
My friend, thank you so much for sharing that. So here is viewers. I tell you, it's a mashup Fire Friday tonight, you know. It's a mashup Fire Friday. The delay in handing over of corpus of persons who died from COVID-19 is often because the listed next of kin is in quarantine due to exposure of the virus. Responding to a question in the Senate, Health Minister Terence Dial Singh said, legally, the bodies cannot be released to any relatives other than the individual listed as next of kin.
Most of the cases where bodies are delayed outside of this average time of 1 to 5 days unquestionably does happen. And when we investigate the reasons, it is because the next of kin listed on the admission form is now in quarantine for 14 days. So that has thrown up a problem. It is the fault of no one, not the deceased, not the next of kin, not the RHA. It is just because the listed next of kin is in quarantine. And legally, we cannot release the body to anyone else, even though other family members may be asking for that release.
So now Trinidad and Tobago, they investigate that, you know. They heard Terrence? After investigating that. But them are investigating if a vaccinated person could get COVID-19 and spread it in a safe zone. Them are investigating that. Them are investigating that. That is something worth not investigating. The average storage time for the bodies of the deceased ranged between 1 to 5 days. Asked by opposition Senator Wade Mark if he was aware of additional related costs to families, Dayal Singh said there is no charge by the RHAs for the storage of the bodies. Meanwhile, Social Development Minister Donna Cox, in response to another question from Mark, indicated that funeral grants continue to be paid to families in need of financial support to cover burial costs. How much are you getting? Navin, use man is burial. About 7,000, 6,000, 7,000, somewhere around 4,000 for burial. About how much? No, a normal burial. A normal burial is about 6,000, 5,000, 6,000. So how much to bury a COVID-19 person? How much to bury a COVID-19 person? Because I believe NIS, the most you can get is up to 7,500. NIS giving you that. 7,500. So how much to bury a COVID-19 person? Call her good night.
Hello, good night, sir.
My dear, could you give us a figure of how much to bury a COVID-19 person by chance?
How much it is to bury what?
A COVID-19 person.
Well, the last person and the figures that I've gotten from friends of mine was approximately $20,000.
That is, how much?
$20,000. That was pretty crematorium, but the burials I'm not sure about, but I know it is about 8,000, 9,000, maybe 10.
The grant here?
No, not the grant. What they would charge you at the funeral home.
Okay. Go ahead, my dear. Voice your concern.
Is it possible, good night everybody, Ms. Ali, good night, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, good night. I'm just trying to find out, is it possible that I can use your platform to speak about something not related?
Sure, not a problem. Once it's in the domain, it's not a problem.
Sure, okay, so what I would like to let the citizens know, we are in fire season and the ODPM has sent out notices via text messages on our handsets concerning bushfire season from the 1st of December to June. However, I would like citizens to be aware, especially in the Cuba Tabaqui Para-Regional Corporation, we do not have a fire truck.
No fire truck in Cuba?
No fire truck in Cuba. We have no ambulance service from the fire station. Neither do we have by law, it says the fire warden is supposed to charge any persons when they are lighting illegal fires. The fire wardens, if any citizen of this country decides that they would like to venture and check it out themselves, it's young children.
Wow.
And they have to follow apparently that's how it is, but they have to follow the protocol of the divisional fire officer, also known as the county fire officer. And those young children, they are not vested with the power to do the necessary. But I want to bring another point to the table. These individuals, now everybody has to be given a fair chance. In order for them to go to these persons, our citizens of this country are aware that the fire department does not even have a vehicle to send these fire wardens out so that they could be able to assist other citizens, senior citizens, because your neighbor lighting a bushfire. When you call the fire station, ma'am, we will have to get Shagonas, or sir, we will have to get Shagonas to assist you because we have no fire truck in Cuba.
So Cuba have a fire station?
We have a fire station,
but no fire, no fire service.
No fire service. How could they respond? These are another thing. When there's an accident on the highway or any part in Trinidad and Tobago, the persons that are there to assist and save a life is the fire department, who uses the jaws of life or whatever other training that they have to assist. The fire department has been using their ambulance to assist also when the COVID-19 pandemic on your lockdown, to assist the EMS in whatever way that they could. This department, I am not a fire officer, let me make that clear. I am just a civilian calling because we are dealing with certain residents in the Freeport area constantly lighting bushfire, affecting the health of senior citizens. When you try to speak to them, you're being cursed at, abused in every possible way, and on top of that, these people lighting fire people's property who not even here, or they may be deceased due to COVID. So the fact that we have nothing, the fire department is starved. I am asking kindly all political leaders, the councillors as well, they are trying to the best of their ability, but they could, everybody in every area could only go so far. But I am asking opposition, present government, ministers, chief officer, I am asking, please put all the differences aside and realize that there's the citizens of this country that need help. If my neighbor house on fire, somebody could tell me what am I to do? I'm supposed to take a bucket and help them modify, because by the time the fire department is from Shogunas, the house burned down.
I understand. Wow. My friend, this is so sad for the Cuba area.
It is. And the thing is, when people come out, you're asking for help, all I'm saying, and I'm calling, I'm asking citizens, if all you doubt me, please take a drive-by when you're going to Cuba Market. Drive-by, look at the conditions our fire officers are working under. They still put a smile on the face and come outside to help citizens. But is it a nice environment that they are working under? They are starved with resources. But if you charge people and make them learn the hard way, just like you would do when you break a traffic offense, you get points deducted from you, take the money and fund the fire department. Help the people. Let them continue doing what they love to do, which is to serve and to help people. But I don't know who can help us. I hope to God it reaches the ears of somebody that could see this matter as something to be deemed serious and hire fire wardens who have authority, and they could go and do the necessary according to the Fire Act.
I understand.
Please.
My dear, thank you so much for raising your concerns. We will look into it. Thank you so much. So viewers, staying with Donna Cox. All the listeners crap, Now, Donna Cox said, there is no cap on the number of grants provided, and that the payment of these grants are also determined by a means test. So you're going back to school to get a grant to bury a loved one. Or you think it easy? You had to do a means test to get a grant to bury the dead person. That is how low we reach in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is how the minister has taken us now, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, for duncy head people. You want a grant? Not a problem. Come and sit down and write a means test, and if you qualify for your means test, you go get a grant. Let me tell you something. We gone back in the days where we planted lagoon rice and using bull cat to pull cane. That is where we're going back. If it's not Miss Data, it's Shamfa, Donna Cox. How much? 19,000 to bury a COVID dead? 19,000 to bury a COVID-19 dead person, and 10,000 without, so there's a 10,000 for a glass? Wow. So let's hear that Trinidad and Tobago. Watch me. Listen to this video.
Madam President, there is no cap on the number of grants that is provided for persons, vulnerable persons. The funeral grant is paid by the ministry and provides financial support for the burial of persons where families have difficulty providing for the full cost. It is therefore intended to supplement resources And this grant is usually issued to needy families whose means are determined by a means test.
So you had to write a test now, viewers, in order to get a little money to bury your dead. Watch me, a little while ago you had to do a means test. You had to do a means test to get a device for your child while doing online class. Now you have to do a means test now to get money to bury the dead. Let me tell you something, we're going backward with that tricycle, you know. We are going forward with that BMX, we're going backward on our tricycle. We're pedaling backward. And all they're talking about Saieed now mustn't come out and put on his foot for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago when we're hearing this nonsense. And you know we're bawling? Hooray for Donna Cox. Hooray for Donna Cox, she's minister. So hear this now. If you do this means test, and you have passed this means test, what's going on with the dead family? What's going on with them? They got rotten by the roadside? I'll talk now. Call her good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed. Great program as usual.
Thank you, my friend.
Now, Mr. Dictator Rowley saying that he's not going to pay public servants come Monday, you know, if they're not vaccinated. It's our money paying filthy Faris for that building they're occupying. And that building will not have any workers in it. I hope he don't pay any rent for that building. It's our money. We put him there to manage, and our money he will take to pay Faris.
Thank you.
So, I hope they listen to the THA Chief Secretary, what he said. He said he's running the Tobago affairs. He said he's not going to make vaccination mandatory
for their workers.
Right. He said, but protect yourself, and that is the approach they should be taking in Trinidad.
Yes.
Protect yourself. Everybody have a responsibility to protect themselves. Don't come here like a dictator and push this down people's throat. That is not right. But I know, Mr. Saeed, the power of the people and the power of real talk, we will fix this country, because all the time they have the bodies there, you know, it's because of the power of the people and power of real talk. They have to release the bodies now to the different religious, well, the Hindus and the Christians and Muslims and whatnot. Else, if we didn't have a platform to voice our opinion, and that would have never happened, you know, in this country. So, my friend, great is you, great is real talk. Long live real talk, my friend. If I had money, I'd sure sponsor your program for 2 months.
No, don't hurt up your head.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend, but thank you for the contribution anyway. Mark then asked Cox if she knew that families were allegedly being called upon to pay exorbitant costs associated with burial. He also said the cost ranged from $10,000 to $30,000. However, Senate President Christine Kangaloo disallowed the question. Why all I feel is joke? Listen to this.
Madam President, can the Minister indicate to this Honorable Senate whether she's aware that families are being called upon to pay exorbitant costs associated with burials for their families in the region of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000? Is the Minister aware of these high costs associated with funeral and burials and cremation?
That question isn't allowed.
Where's that? Where's that? You turn it down now, because all I hearing that families, they're begging funeral home, oh God, do it a little cheaper for we now. But while you ban the Hindus and them now for burying the COVID-19 persons and them, let me tell you something, good thing we mashed it up 1 or 2 times. I tell you, a good thing we mashed it up 1 or 2 times. But I'm waiting to hear what the Prime Minister had to say, and then you're going to see Queen Council jumping up. Take what telling all, I will take it from my own pocket and pay them. All I feel is I stupid? I don't ish, you know. All I feel is stupid? Well, I'll let you know I don't ish. I speak it in 6 different languages, but I don't ish. Come wrong me and I'll go see something. Come wrong me. Remember, the Industrial Court, Deborah Thomas Felix said it is against that law. I want to hear what the AG have to say. Not because he is the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago. You can play honky donkey and do what you want, your partner. No. Think again. A means test determines if a person or household is eligible to receive some sort of benefit or payment to bury the dead. A couple months ago, you Sharon had to do a means test to get a device to attend online class. Now you have to do a means test to know if the dead value enough now to get money to bury them. But you think, boy, let me tell you something. We have some kind of people running Trinidad and Tobago. I have no idea where they came from, where they get their education from. But there's ministers. And what we saying? Great is the PNM. I will say this now, and have always been saying this. I am not a fan of PNM, UNC, PDP, NAR, PPP, whatever it is. I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, and I stand for the right thing. So you cannot associate me with any party. I have friends in all the parties and them, but I am not associated with any party, and I run this program. But all I feel is a joke. There is still no substantial evidence to show that mRNA vaccine are more effective in preventing COVID-19 death than those with inactive vaccine, such as Sinopharm. This is the view of Health Minister Terence Singh when he asked if he was concerned about the Singapore report which broke down COVID-19 death by vaccine. The report suggested that most of the deaths reported in Singapore were people who got Sinovac or Sinopharm shots, while only a few deaths were those who were administered a Moderna vaccine. However, Singh quoted Singapore Health Minister, who, in response to the report, said the sample size was small and did not account for the factor like age and timing of the vaccine dose. Listen to this.
He says, be mindful. We are calculating this based on quite a small sample of 247 deaths. And this is the key line. These rates are only indicative since they do not account for other factors which can affect mortality, such as the age and timing of vaccination. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to urge us, when we are reading reports, not to cherry pick something to fit a narrative. Look at the entire report and let us make reasonable conclusions and not assumptions.
Here is Terence Singh. Since you're talking in a big language, let me talk about Trinidad and Tobago. How much vaccinated persons are getting sick with the COVID-19 while having 2 doses? How many vaccinated persons died with the COVID-19? And they're always saying, oh, comorbidities. They had comorbidities, they could die from a heart attack, but you're blaming COVID-19, and they were vaccinated. But I thought it was supposed to reduce the risk, according to you, Terence. Huh? Watch me. I maybe look like a bald head man. I maybe look like a thin, nashy man on TV. But you see, coming to common sense and sense, Terence, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Come good, you know. Come good. So I want you to conclude now, for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, how many vaccinated persons getting COVID-19? And is our safe zone safe? Dr. Avery Hines said, even though you get the vaccine, you could still get COVID-19. So how safe is our safe zone? Huh? Can the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, answer that? All come now, man. I'm not no doctor. I'm not no practitioner. But I have friends and family who is doctors and nurses and pharmacists. Hear this now, eh? Hear this now, eh? However, epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines said, any argument about the effectiveness of COVID-19 vaccine will be ruled out by the current vaccine booster program. So the booster now will determine the outcome or the argument. All the time was, take your shot, take your first dose, go get your jab. Now they've already second dose. Go take your second dose. It will help. It will reduce the risk of you getting COVID-19. Now they have a booster now to rule out now the effectiveness now. Now I'm going to tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago and viewers of Real Talk Worldwide. They are ministers. They have their profession. And their rights is to come out and tell the people something, whether it's the truth or a lie. Their rights is to come out and talk to the citizen. Whether they're telling the citizen the truth or them are telling the truth. Like Terrence, if you take the vaccine, it will reduce the risk. But Sharfa took the vaccine and she got COVID. It didn't reduce nothing. Terry. Ooh, Terry, that's science. Did you follow that science? When all you come out with the truth, I will agree with you all. But anytime you're hitting the public at 6 for a 9, I will show you how the bat, they hit the ball for a 6. Don't play with Saieed. Don't play with Saieed at all, at all, at all, at all. So viewers, the Chemistry, Food and Drug Division of the Ministry of Health has approved the sale of COVID-19 rapid antigen test kits at pharmacies. Health Minister Terrence Dialsing confirmed this as he stated that the process for registering an antigen test kit is simple, which can be done in a matter of days, and it is legal for sale. Listen to this.
He says, be mindful. We are calculating this based on quite a small sample of 247 deaths. And this is the key line. These rates are only indicative since they do not account for other factors which can affect mortality, such as the age and timing of vaccination. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to urge us, when we are reading reports, not to cherry pick something to fit a narrative. Look at the entire report and let us make reasonable conclusions and not assumptions.
Well, I think this man right here. I think this man right here. So listen this. Listen to this. Tourism, Culture and the Arts Minister Randall Mitchell have stated that no decision and no budget have been determined relatively to staging Carnival 2022. He also mentioned that the ministry is holding discussion with the National Carnival Commission, Pan Trinbago, Trinidad Unified Calypsonian Organization, and other stakeholders. Mitchell stated that no firm decision has yet been taken regarding the hosting of Carnival type activity in 2022.
No firm decision has yet been taken regarding the hosting of Carnival type activities in 2022. However, we expect that a decision will be forthcoming in the near future. With respect to Part 3, and having regard to the response in Part 2 of the question, no budget estimate has been identified at this time for the hosting of Carnival-type activities in 2022.
So viewers, a little recap. We have about 5 minutes left. 2020, COVID-19 introduced itself to Trinidad and Tobago around March month. End of February, March. Terrence Dialsing and the Prime Minister said they were making an arrangement in January, the end of January. In 2020, when Wade Mack brought comments or raised the motion in the Senate, the House Speaker, Bridget Annette George, did not find that motion was good enough to discuss. No problem. 2020, lockdown in Trinidad and Tobago. Couple months, lockdown. Nobody didn't study about who paid for what and who getting money to buy what. Come 2021, deaths started to occur in Trinidad and Tobago. Vaccine were given out in Trinidad and Tobago. Kamala, these are recapping. Kamala asked India High Commission for vaccine donation in Trinidad and Tobago. Our Prime Minister said, I am not going to beg India for no vaccine for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I just giving you some recaps. But they took a loan in China for $200 and something million to buy vaccine. Them are begging, you know. They will take a loan from China to buy vaccine for Trinidad and Tobago in 2021. Lockdown funerals. Nobody can go out. You can't go to work. SOE in Trinidad and Tobago. Our rights have been suspended while banks calling. Person who own rental property calling for rent. The little bit of money you save going down the drain. Not a problem. Rental assistance supposed to be paid in 2020. They pay it in 2021. So that whole year, salt for all year. Take all your money in 2021. Great is the PNM again. Come 2022 now. Fires now wants to make it mandatory because the Prime Minister said so. The Prime Minister removed detail that was unvaccinated. The President removed security detail that were unvaccinated. Come 2021 now, they created safe zones. So I ask myself, in the safe zone, according to Every Hines, if you take the vaccine in 2021, you can still get COVID-19. I have a lot of friends and families, doctors, nurses, ward attendants, took the vaccine and got COVID-19. Even a minister, it happened too. Good. Now they want to make it mandatory now for us to take the vaccine. Don't come to work and stay home if you ain't take it. You have your job, you know, but you will not get paid. But Terrence now come to tell me who will pay. Who will pay? The employees of business. Who will pay the businessman? Who will put food on the table? While our Prime Minister wants to make it mandatory for vaccine. Now, is the vaccine safe for the safe zone? Because Every Hines said, let me tell you something, it's a recap of facts I hitting all here, you know. Every Hines said you take the vaccine, you're still getting COVID. It was proven scientifically because then Shamfa get COVID while on that double dose of vaccine. Terrence, you didn't follow that science. How many vaccinated people die with comorbidities and all saying, oh God, they die from COVID? Facts again. So my question to you now, since I opened up the safe zone, how safe is the safe zone? Because I understand and I have seen it with my eyes and it has been proven. You're vaccinated, you're getting COVID, and when you go in the safe zone to eat or to drink a beer, you take off your mask. So my dear Terrence, my dear CMO, and my dear Every Hines, is the safe zone safe? That is what I'm asking. Is the safe zone safe? So viewers, we're out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, I am Saieed Ali, and you are watching Real Talk with Saieed Ali. There's a rerun of this program on Monday the 17th from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. If you miss it, you can check it out then, and meet us right here on Monday the 17th for Mash Up Monday. Until we meet again, good night.